gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
One of the 14 accused of carjacking and dragging 72-year-old Linda Fricke to her death may not be competent to stand trial. A court-appointed psychiatrist's diagnosis of 16-year-old Lenira Theophile led the criminal court judge to order that teen to a mental health facility. The teen is expected to receive treatment in an effort to restore her competency. 3 other teens are charged with second-degree murder in the case and will likely go on trial separately from Theophile.
All right, guys, so I just wanted to bring you guys the recent updates on the Linda Fricke case. Obviously, they are looking to get this trial started and underway by the end of this year. Hasn't been such a speedy process so far, but there's been back and forth speculation that one of the individuals, one of the culprits, one of these super teen gremlins on Demon Time was not competent. Obviously, they tried to play the mental health card, and you know, it almost worked. It almost worked, but thank goodness it did not. So, you know, just to recap on this situation, Linda Fricke, she was a 74-year-old woman who got carjacked by these super teen gremlins. Obviously, they set it up. They had Buddy in the corner right here, and you know, they hounded her, they jumped her, they dragged her, and she was dismembered. I mean, just a horrible situation. And these were teenagers, and you guys know how the courts of New Orleans goes. Obviously, Soros DAs and Jason Williams, and then they also have Latoya Contreras, who's the mayor, and she's soft on crime. It's just a bad situation altogether. And you know, there's a possibility that these individuals, you know, they're gonna get some time, but I think a lot of that time is gonna be split up, you know, between all of them, and you know, hopefully they get the book thrown at them, but I don't think that's what's gonna happen. But look, we'll see.
Fricke was killed nearly a year ago when police say the teens carjacked, beat, and dragged her to her death in Mid-City.
It's just that we'll have to go through it all a second time with reliving all the gory details. Just as most coverage says, you know, Linda was carjacked and dragged to her death, but it's overlooked the actual horror of how she was sprayed and just literally beaten and stomped before she was dragged.
Yeah, and like I've been saying for the longest, these super gremlins are, you know, they are assaulting and violating the elderly. It's a quite scary situation, but this is the norm nowadays, and it's being enabled by these Soros-funded prosecutors and the soft on crime system in general. You know, we talk about a racist, institutionalized criminal justice system, but I mean, like I said on Chaotic Stream, a lot of these dudes are getting sweetheart deals. That's just the reality. And these violent crimes are not getting punished to the fullest extent of the law. That's just the facts.
The family is expected to gather tomorrow at Fricke's graveside for the 1-year anniversary of her murder.
Tonight, we've learned another pre-trial hearing will be held this Monday for the teens accused of carjacking and killing Linda Fricke last year. This comes after all 4 teens in the case have been found competent to stand trial. Judge Kimya Holmes originally set the trial to begin next year, but after multiple appeals by prosecutors, it now has to begin before the end of this year. 4 teens are facing second-degree murder charges and will be charged as adults. If convicted, they could face life in prison. We will continue to follow this case closely and bring you updates as we receive them.
Property owner says her family is out hundreds of thousands of dollars after squatters vandalized her units beyond repair.
Maddie Kurth has the story.
Homeowners Nightmare. Squatters taking over 6 lower Ninth Ward rental units that have been in Patricia Rem's family since the 1970s, ransacking and trashing the properties and taking appliances and plumbing out of the walls.
Woo! So, they definitely ran through that property, and it's sad, man. You know, that is a homeowner's worst nightmare. But as you guys can see, these super gremlins don't care. They will violate anybody.
There's nothing else for them to steal. So what I'm doing is boarded it so there won't be an unsafe condition for people who, to come in. That's based upon what the police told me, so you need to get them boarded up. I says, okay, we're gonna start doing that. And we'll take it from there.
The issue caught the attention of Nicole Roche, who bought the house behind Rem's just over 2 years ago.
And a classic New Orleans story, particularly here in the lower Ninth Ward. I know that we're not the only neighborhood going through this. It's an epidemic in this city.
Yeah, because there is no law and order, and they're leaving these poor people to fend for themselves. It's, it's sad. People are being squeezed out of their properties. Homes that they've owned for years now being vandalized, and they tried to rent in them, or they tried renting them and whatnot, and these properties are just getting trashed.
She noticed something was off at the rentals and brought it to Rem's attention.
So at first it was just scary. You didn't know if you were in any harm, and then I came to realize they weren't really posing a threat in that way, but a threat to the property. I mean, I'm concerned about the house going on fire and fires catching all around.
Behind the property, a dump of rotting food, tarps and tents, needles scattered across the tall grass. Rem says she's been begging the police and her city councilman for help. While our crew was touring the property for this story, a member of Oliver Thomas's staff came out to survey as well.
All the air conditioning units have been torn out, both on the roof and inside.
And see, this is what a lot of people don't realize. They like to say, oh, well, they got insurance. Bro, insurance don't cover everything. And insurance companies definitely don't want to pay out when they don't have to. And unless you get vandalism insurance, you're not going to be covered. So in this case, you see this brother here, and he is, trying to rent the property, whatnot. It might be in his family, and he is being affected. See, a lot of people think this is this is just a white folks problem. No. Okay, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of black homeowners, and these guys are becoming the #1 victims to these super gremlins who are, invading these properties, squatting, not leaving when they're supposed to, having to get evicted. It's just a mess.
Several houses, they stripped the wiring out of the walls, literally, busted all the windows, and just vandalism. That's not squatting, it's vandalism. That's what it is.
The repair costs are too expensive for the family to afford. One contractor even refused to continue working on the rentals because everything fixed would end up destroyed again.
Unless we could do something with the squatting problem, it doesn't make sense, so he wouldn't come back.
Now, after these squatters have come in, it's in the hundreds of thousands.
The neighborhood is exhausting its options.
I know we don't have a lot of solutions. I'm also not sure how many people want the solutions that are available, because drug addiction is real too.
And the property, held in this family for more than 50 years, now sits in limbo.
We decide whether we want to fix them up, start one at a time, and try to start over again.
And that's just so unfair, man. I really feel bad for this guy. The super gremlins making it harder they're making it hard to live, and they're ruining it for everybody. Oof, man, this is just a horror story.
Now, Rem tells me she had security cameras installed at one point, but vandals spray painted over the lens. She says reinstalling the damaged items would cost more than $5,000, and there's no telling if the vandals would strike again.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
5 people shot in just a matter of hours across the city of New Orleans, and we now know one of those victims has died.
WDSU reporter Shay O'Connor live at NOPD headquarters with the latest on these investigations. Shay.
Good evening to you, Gina and Sella. Now, I should note that 2 of those shootings were actually double shootings. One of the victims as young as 15 years of age. So that's why NOPD is hoping that if you do know something about these incidents, that you'll step forward.
5 people shot overnight. Are we surprised? You know, the community is imploding. We really are. And nobody wants to acknowledge this. Dude, one of my videos, you know, kind of started buzzing before the YouTube algorithm, you know, caught it. And overnight, it gets like 2,000 views. And I get all these comments of, why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about that? I mean, it's crazy. The community does not want this. They don't want to discuss it at all. It's like it's like the ostrich with his head in the sand. It's absolutely ridiculous.
3 separate shooting incidents under investigation overnight. Police say the first one resulted in the death of a man here along Eade Street. People who live in the area say the man was found behind this purple bus.
I started to cross the tape, but you know you're not supposed to cross the tape, so I did not. But if I'd have went there, I'd have seen the body.
Curly Taplett says he saw the scene, but did not hear any gunfire.
So we'll hear a shot here. We hear if someone is close, even around the 4 corners, I can hear it. Something may have happened, and may have dropped the person in here.
We just have to stop the killing, and everybody needs to just get on their knees and pray.
So the sister's saying stop the killing, but again, do we have to reiterate? I can tell by the earrings she voted for this. I can tell by the earrings she voted for this. Like, look, man, a lot of y'all just, I just think certain people are unaware of what it's really going to take to stop this. And then when it actually starts happening, then they're going to say, oh, mass incarceration. Look, bruh. It's a lot of folks who need to be locked up in the community. That's just a fact. A lot of folks bragging about bodies, you know, enjoying the lifestyle of taking another person's life. It's got to stop. And, you know, it's not going to stop. I mean, let's keep it a buck. It's probably not going to stop. But it's not going to stop unless we do something about it.
Surrender to God.
Minutes later, a double shooting along 2nd Street. One of the victims only 15 years old. NOPD is currently looking into how the teen made it to US 90 East near the Poydras Street exit.
I don't really know much about this area. You know, the next time I do a little bit more due diligence in the neighborhood.
March Brown is in town renting an Airbnb a long second for his birthday. He woke up Wednesday to the news about the double shooting and also to find his own vehicle broken into.
Yeah, they will do it to you. Yep, I mean, sounds about right.
And he says 2 other vehicles were also broken into. This surveillance capturing some of those scary moments. Brown ended up having to pay $500 for a new window.
I'm healthy, everybody's safe, so I'll live to see another day.
And yet another double shooting at about midnight. This one, the location isn't clear. We're told 2 victims arrived at a hospital shot. Officials believe it happened somewhere in New Orleans East. And according to the New Orleans crime dashboard on the web, they pretty much say that non-fatal shootings are down by about 15% as compared to last year. Now, crime.
So they're saying non-fatal shootings are down 15%. What about the fatal shootings? Ridiculous. They just trying to throw out any stat to make it seem like it's getting better when it's not. This is what I be talking about, the enabling.
Analysts, they pretty much believe that last year we saw some of the highest crime rates that we've seen in years, so they do not feel that this was a fair comparison. Reporting live from NOPD headquarters, Shay O'Connor, WDSU News.
A veteran from Washington State recovers from injuries he received after being attacked in the bathroom of Union Passenger Terminal.
As Rob Messon reports, the victim's family is stunned at the violence, which occurred as the victim was passing through town celebrating his second honeymoon.
73-year-old Dale Ball Sr. was returning home to Washington State by rail when he was attacked Saturday morning inside the men's room at Union Passenger Terminal.
I was angry, very angry. How can anybody attack an elderly gentleman?
Ball was returning home after a visit to Alabama where he was helping his daughter make funeral plans for her deceased husband.
I just lost my husband, and then to have this happen to my dad, I'm just angry.
I mean, a lot of these people don't understand the families that are being affected. It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on in New Orleans. It's lawlessness, y'all, and it's only getting worse.
The police report shows the attack happened at 10:24 Saturday morning and that Ball was found laying on his back with a medium-sized pool of blood underneath his head and was only coherent enough to provide his first name.
He's still in severe concussion protocol, and he's in and out of consciousness in the hospital.
Family members say doctors at UMC are treating the Marine veteran for a fractured eye socket and a fractured jawbone.
Aranda's eye is broken. He's got a broken jaw. He's black and blue. He's got swelling on his brain.
Dale Ball was losing a lot of blood inside the men's room here at UPT.
And what did I say, guys? These super gremlins do not care about harming the elderly. As a matter of fact, that's a main target because they're defenseless in many ways. And, you know, this guy is a military veteran. He served our country, and all of us over here, we would like to thank you for your service. But there's still no respect coming from the community, right? And obviously they hid the mugshot. They're not going to show it, so we all know who done it. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what's going on. But hey, man, don't know what to tell you.
But he may have been saved by a good Samaritan who alerted security, then pointed out to security where the attacker had fled.
Train station security captured Pittman as he fled, but had to pepper spray him twice before returning to take care of Ball.
Very nice guy, so I'm glad to see that he was conscious and awake when he left.
Family members now pray for a speedy recovery as they prepare to head to New Orleans to be by Ball's side.
He freaks out when he wakes up and doesn't know what's going on, so they're keeping...
He freaks out. He having flashbacks. Woo! Man. And at his age, man, he can't take that type of beating. I mean, it's just... Come on, man. I mean, how many years does that take off of this man's life? And I hope that he lives a lot longer. But man, I feel for him. And like I said, guys, if nothing is done, there is going to be some backlash, man. There's going to be backlash. It's going to be on a massive scale, because what these super gremlins are doing is on a massive scale. It really is. It's city to city. Can't get away from it. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Keeping him heavily sedated so he has time to heal.
At this point, the family has no idea how long Ball will be here in the hospital or what his prognosis might be.
I'm worried for him, what the long-term effects could be.
And suspect John Pittman has been charged with second-degree battery and simple battery of the infirm. He was being held on a $10,000 bond. Meantime, the family has set up a GoFundMe account to try and help out with expenses associated with medical treatment for Dale Ball Sr., who is a disabled Marine veteran on a fixed income.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.